Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Christina, and this is Behind the Review. Today's video, I will be talking about the Disney movie from 1964, Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins stars two legendary actors, Dame Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. So where do I begin with this? Mary Poppins, as I said, it came out in 1964. Not only was it Julie Andrews' film debut, motion picture debut, it also earned her an Academy Award. Okay, so where do I begin with this movie? I do really I love this movie. Is it one of my top Disney movies? I'm not sure, but I do really love this movie. I don't know if it's because of the music that were done by the Sherman Brothers. Is it because of Julie Andrews? Is it because of Dick Van Dyke? I don't know. I don't know what it... I really don't know. It is a funny movie. The movie is based on a book by P.L. Travers. Now, there's a whole story behind getting the rights to turn Mary Poppins into a movie. But we can see all that in another Disney movie that stars Tom Hanks as Mr. Walt Disney himself in Saving Mr. Banks. That too is a good movie, but I will save that for another time. With Mary Poppins, where do I want to start? Do I want to start with the acting? Do I want to start with the music? Do I want to start with the background? So let's start with the effects and the background stuff. Considering this movie came out in the 1960s, the things that they did, like special effects kind of thing, were good. I mean, because those of us who know the movie know that Mary Poppins flies in with an umbrella with a parrot on the handle. So, in order to get that effect, they would have had to put her on put her in a harness and put her on on wires. And the fact that, as far as I know, the wires cannot be seen. Like, you can't notice them. There are times where you know for sure that the background is fake, that you can tell it is painted. I'm trying to think. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of a good example, and I can't think of one right now. But there, you can tell that it's an artificial background. But also when Mr. and Mrs. Banks are looking to hire a new nanny for Jane and Michael, you have a lineup of people outside their front door. I don't remember how I found this out, but apparently the lineup of nannies is that you had a mix of male and female actors. So you had male actors dressed up like women. I would never have known until I found that out somehow. And I don't remember how I found that out. It could have been a trivia thing. Maybe it could have been from an interview. I don't remember how I found that out. But once I found that out and I went back to watch it, maybe not right away, and I went to go watch it, I'm now looking and I was like, oh, that's probably a guy. That's probably a guy. And so I'm now like picking them out. It's kind of like, where's Waldo kind of thing. Just to see, I was like, okay, now that I know that. But because it seems to happen so quickly, which is probably the point of why we see this particular scene, is so that way we can see the lineup of potential nannies that are coming to the house to be interviewed, just so we can see it, but we don't want to stay on there too long. Because it happens fairly quick, not necessarily in the blink of an eye, you probably never would have noticed. So there's that. But then, of course, there's the wind that picks up, and all of these nannies are being literally blown away. So you have to have them rigged on wires and cables and stuff in order to pull them out of the scene before Mary Poppins flies in. But like I said, because of when this movie was made, having those kind of effects is amazing. I'm sure these days we would have something similar. I don't necessarily know how. Maybe a green screen or something to that effect. Huh. No pun intended. The acting. So, in general, I would say that the acting is great. The only thing was, this is nothing against Dick Van Dyke, but his accent. Not so good. But what do I know? I can't do an accent. I'm not entirely sure if it was intentional that he do his accent the way he did. I believe I don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's supposed to be a Cockney accent. Um I don't know. It was just, yeah, it was a bit. Um did it bother me when I was a kid? No, because I was a kid. As I got older and I watched it, I was like, "Oh, his accent is his accent is something." Um but then again, I don't know if he was directed to do it that way or if that's just how he was doing his accent. I don't know. Um but I feel like I've heard other people who were part of the movie uh talk about his accent in that. I think himself he even said that his accent wasn't very good. Uh but I can't quite remember. Um but I mean the acting is is good. Of course, okay, now I'm going back to special effects. So then of course you have um the scene where they're doing We Love to Laugh or I Love to Laugh, and they need to be floating in the air, like up in the ceiling. So they need to be off the ground. Again, most likely cables. I didn't watch any behind the scenes stuff. And yeah. And same thing happens at the bank where he's laughing because laughing makes you rise off the floor. Uh yeah. And although, okay, so with the I Love to Laugh song with Dick Van Dyke and Ed Wynn, I believe it's Ed Wynn. Um and they're laughing, well, because they're singing the song and he's trying to demonstrate the different types of laughs. Because he's acting, he did it so well. There were times I thought he was actually laughing. And then there were other times I knew that he was trying to find a way to demonstrate a certain laugh. But some of especially when they're laughing on the ceiling, the adults, I don't know if they were telling each other jokes off camera or if they had something playing in order to get them to laugh as hard as they were or to make it sound naturally. Now, with the kids, I know they are child actors, but there were times you can tell, or at least on my end, you can tell that it was like forced laughter. Like it wasn't natural, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't genuine. Like it wasn't a genuine laugh. But they they're child actors, so maybe it doesn't come as naturally. I don't know. Um I've tried fake laughing. It's not that easy. So I've noticed that I have to kind of do a method thing where I think about something funny in order for me to have like a genuine laugh kind of thing. Um yeah, there's a scene. I don't remember if it's Mr. Banks or if Mr. Banks has the kids, but there's a scene where you can see a cathedral in the background, and it is very noticeable that it is painted. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because they have to give the audience the sense that they are in town, like they're on their way to the bank, even though they do have certain buildings that are set up to make it look like they're walking down the street and they've got the noise and that stuff. But when they stop to look in the background, I'm pretty sure that it's painted. The wall, there's a wall, kind of like a mural kind of thing, where the cathedral is painted in the background. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch it again. But again, because this was made in the 60s, they probably didn't have the technology to, what are the words? I don't know. But if you put that aside, even okay, so for this time, the things, the sets, the stuff that they did was great. Sometimes I forget that it was made in the 60s. Because if you know what I mean, like there are certain things that you can tell, like you can just feel were made in certain eras. But this one, for this, there are times where I feel like it doesn't make me feel like it was made in the 60s, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about this movie. Um, Other than Julie Andrews was phenomenal. It was. I don't know who else was nominated in her category that year for the Oscars. So I can't say. I don't know. I really can't say, but I mean, yeah, I mean, all right. Way to go, Dame Julie Andrews. Academy Award winner. Um, I would love to meet Julie Andrews in person. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. Talked about the acting. Am I missing something? The music. So the music, I will. Okay, so the music. The Sherman Brothers did it. They did the music. And it is. Whenever I hear the music from Mary Poppins, or whenever I watch this movie, even when I was watching Saving Mr. Banks, and I know that they're playing the music from Mary Poppins, how can you not sing along? Wait, what? It's a habit. It makes you want to sing along. I can't help myself. Anytime I hear a song or something from Mary Poppins, or heck, maybe even any Disney movie, I can't help myself. I sing along. I can't help it. It's just a thing. Because they're catchy, and most of them are very upbeat. And from what I've heard from people who worked with Walt Disney, based on like interviews or stuff like that, that his favorite song comes from this movie. His favorite song is Feed the Birds. So if you ever see like a Disney tribute thing, there was one that was at Disneyland. I don't remember which Sherman brother it was, but they were playing the piano in front of the I think it was in front of the castle. And he knew that it was Mr. Disney's favorite song. He played it. And if you watch closely, you can see a bird fly past as he's singing the song. People, I don't know if people, but someone or a few people have said that during that song, because it was that song and the bird flying past, some people believe, some people don't, but some people believe that that bird that was flying past while that song was playing was it was basically Mr. Walt Disney coming by for a visit and approval, because that was his favorite song. I don't know. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. So, I mean, some people like this movie, some people don't. I actually, when I hear people say that they've watched the movie and they didn't really like it, or that they enjoyed it while they were watching it and say that they may not watch it again, I was like, what? I'm always surprised. But then again, I'm telling myself it's okay. Some people are gonna like certain movies and some people aren't, and that's okay. But you know, I don't know. So if you haven't seen this movie, or if you want to rewatch this movie because it's been years since you've seen it, go check it out. It is, I mean, can't say that it's one of my favorites, but I do love this movie. I think it's a cute movie. It's funny. I don't know. I don't know what else I could say about it. So again, if you haven't seen it or you want to revisit, go ahead and check out Mary Poppins from 1964. If you like this video, remember to hit like, and don't forget to subscribe so that way you don't miss out on any future videos of mine. And if you have questions, or if you would like to suggest another movie for me to talk about and review, leave it in the comments down below. And I think that's all I've got for you. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye.